Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What Would That Sound Like, the show where I take the tips and tricks from today's top thought leaders and show you how to communicate them to your teams, companies, and conferences. I'm not in the home studio, but I am here, in the Bahamas, because I'm taking the stage in just a few hours tonight. But before I do that, I'm your host, Sean Patrick, and I'm gonna lay you down right here because I want to share a little wisdom with you guys. You see, I just finished my time with Dan and Chip Heath's book, Decisive, which is all about making decisions, easy, hard ones, and there's a ton of great stuff in there, but I'm gonna give you my top 5 things that you can take and apply to your life or the lives of your teams, companies, and conferences. So let's figure out what would that sound like. So each and every day, we're faced with decisions, simple ones like where do we eat tonight, or even difficult ones like should I stay with this company, this person? Should I go somewhere else? Should I do something different with my life? It ranges the whole gambit of possibilities. Some are easy, some are difficult. But I want to give you 5 quick and easy steps to help you make those easy and difficult decisions in your life. The first thing that will help is this. When facing a decision, think of all the possibilities, not just one or the other. And with that, shape those possibilities in a positive way. Let me give you an example. I like to think of this through the eyes of a teenager. Take, for example, a teenager who's deciding, should I go to that party tonight or should I stay home? Well, the first thing, they're only giving themselves 2 options. They're not thinking of all the other options. They're saying either go to the party or stay home. They're not thinking of go to the party or watch the football game. Go to a party, go to the movies. They have so many other opportunities that they could be thinking of, but they've got themselves in this box of it's either this or it's this. So give yourself more opportunities to think through other alternatives in the decision-making process. The next thing is, a lot of the times when we're thinking of a decision or trying to make a decision, there's one option that's inherently positive or what we feel like maybe we should do, and another option that's inherently negative or we think maybe we shouldn't do. In this example, as a teenager, you're probably thinking, going to the party feels like the right thing I should do to be cool or to be with my friends, and going home seems like the bad decision. As an adult, you may think the opposite, and frankly, I hope you do. But we have this inherently positive and inherently negative situation or 2 options that makes you lean one way or the other. Instead of having that, try to frame your options as inherently positive things. Let me give you an example. A group of people were given the opportunity to either buy their favorite movie on DVD for $14.99 or not. Only 20% of the people took the not option. Now, different group of people presented with the same opportunity in one change. Check this out. They were presented with the opportunity to buy your favorite movie on DVD for $14.99 or save the $14.99 to buy something you want in the future. The number of people who took that second option of saving the money jumped from 20% up to 45%. Almost half the people now save the money. The only difference in those 2 groups was we changed the second option to be something that was positive instead of something inherently negative, like you don't get something, now you get to save. So looking at something from a positive perspective or framing all your options in a positive way could really help you out in your decision making. The second thing is this. Look at the solutions that other people have found to that problem. I used to work with middle schoolers, and I love that age because so much is changing for them. It's physiological changes, it's mental and emotional changes. It is just so much happening at once. And just about every student I ever came into contact with would suffer from what I call end of the world syndrome. And that's when a kid experiences something for the first time. Something like, I have a crush on somebody and they don't like me back. It's the first time they're feeling that situation, that emotion, and it feels like their world is gonna end. And not only that, but it feels like since this is my first time having this experience, since this is my first time having all of these emotions and these feelings, it's my first time, so therefore no one else has ever had to deal with this. I'm the only one who has ever felt this way. It's the end of the world syndrome. Now I bring that up because sometimes we take a little bit of that into our adult life. We think that our problem is so unique, so specific to us as an individual or a company that no one else has ever gone through this. The specifics of your problem might be a little different, but I guarantee you that other people, other companies, other teams have gone through similar issues or similar problems that they need to find a solution to. So look to people who have had similar issues to try to figure out how you can solve your problem. Let me give you an example. The founder of Walmart, Sam Walton, was having an issue with his checkout lines. Back in the day, they used to have 2, if not multiple checkout lines for people to leave, and they'd have to go to multiple spots. Well, he had heard back in the 50s that one of his competitors, I think it was the Ben Franklin Value or Variety Store, was doing something different. They were shifting from 2 counters to 1 streamlined checkout system, like we all know, love, and experience today. Well, I don't know about love, but we all experience it today. This guy, the owner of Walmart, takes a 12-hour bus ride, this is in the 1950s, to go check this out. He loves it so much that he immediately starts doing it at his stores, and of course, takes off with great success. What I love about this story too, though, isn't just the idea and that he went and figured out what his competitors were doing to solve a similar problem and then implemented it. It's what happens years later. Years later, Sam admits that just about everything good that he's done in his company, he's copied from somebody else. He's looked at some competitor or someone else doing it better and figured out how to implement it in his store. So even if your problem feels unique or specific to you, look and see what other people are doing. Might help you out. Number 3, as a race, we tend to consume information better when it's a story or an analogy. Sometimes we're looking just for facts to solve our problems, when really we should be searching for analogies to help solve our problems. So that's number 3, search for analogies to help you solve your problems in more general ways. And I'll get into what that means in a bit. Unless you're a competitive swimmer, you probably don't know about what I'm about to talk about. But Speedo's let me try that again. It's a tough one. I'm not a swimmer. Speedo's fast skin swimsuit was developed, it was less than 20 years ago, probably less than 15 years ago. Fiona Fairhurst created it because she was tasked with solving the problem of creating a faster swimsuit. Instead of looking specifically in what can I trim off here, or how can I stitch this to make the swimsuit go faster, she went more generally and looked at things that were analogous to what she was trying to accomplish to find a solution. So she looked at things that were fast. She looked at sharks, she looked at torpedoes, she looked at space shuttles, she looked at all sorts of things like that to try to solve this problem. The fabric that she ended up coming up with had a roughness that reduced drag, and it would shape a swimmer's body. It had greater coverage on them. It would kind of shape them into like a torpedo-like shape so they could get through the water faster. So instead of looking at how can I specifically make this swimsuit faster, she looked more generally at things that were fast. She started to study speed. And the result of what she got was a swimsuit that was so fast, that gave swimmers such a competitive advantage, that it actually was banned from competitive swimming. That's how good this swimsuit was, because she didn't take the specific approach, but she looked at something more general, more analogous to what she was trying to accomplish, and she really made a dent in the swimming industry so much that she was banned. Her swimsuit was banned. How many of you can say that you made something so good that it wasn't even fair in your industry? She can, Fiona can. Next thing is this, number 4, try to create some emotional distance from your decision. Try to create emotional distance from your decision by thinking about it from a future perspective. Here's what I mean by that. A lot of the times if you're making a difficult decision, do I need to let this person go? Should I keep them here? Do I need to transition to a different department, to a different company? Should I stay with this person? Should I leave with this person? Should I go with this person? We're so overwhelmed by the emotions of that moment, because in the moment, emotions are really clear. But when you're looking at it from a future perspective, you're actually able to remove yourself from that emotion and make a more clear decision and have a better, more clear understanding of what you're doing. Let me give you an example. There's something called the 10-10-10 approach, and that helps you create emotional distance from your decision. It's simple. Ask yourself, how am I gonna feel about this decision in 10 minutes from now? Then ask yourself, how am I gonna feel in 10 months from now? Almost a year. And then of course, how am I gonna feel in 10 years from now? In 10 years from now, a little decision, something that seems so big in the moment, is probably ultimately gonna be a very little decision that maybe had little to no impact on your life. But take yourself emotionally out of the situation by using that 10-10-10 approach. The other thing you can do, and I love this, is something similar, is taking a different approach to looking at this and removing yourself and your emotions from the equation, but you do that by taking the observer's perspective. Let me tell you what that is. So there was a group of people and they were presented a situation. So which situation was something like this. You're working at a job, a new guy or girl comes in, they're attractive, they're cute, you think you might want to get to know them, and you think, I'm gonna pick up the phone and I'm gonna call them. Just gonna see if they wanna go out. That's your first option. Pick up the phone and call them. Second option is, well, maybe they don't even remember who I am. Maybe they haven't been here long enough to get to know me. Maybe I should wait a few weeks, just kind of feel it out, and then maybe I can do that. Option 1, call. Option 2, wait. Now, when given that situation, an overwhelming majority of people said, let me just wait. Let me just feel it out, see if I know this person or they know me, or if I like them, all that kind of stuff. Here's what they changed in the situation. They gave the same people the same situation, but instead of them picking up the phone or not, they said, this whole situation is happening to your friend. Now they want to know, should I call them or should I wait? An incredible number switched from saying wait to pick up the phone. You know why? Because they're saying, hey, girl, guy, whatever it is, you only live once. Don't miss out on this opportunity. What's the worst that could happen? They can say no and you can move on. It was an incredible shift from one option to the other by taking yourself out of the situation and looking at it as an observer. So that may help you too. That may help you get emotional distance from the situation by looking at it from, what would my best friend say about this? Or if my friend was going through this, what would I tell them to do? So try to get yourself a little bit of emotional distance from that. The fifth and final thing I want to talk about is when your decisions are based on conflicting values. When they're both good decisions, they're both decisions or options that would be good for you. Lean into your core priorities to help you make that decision. Let me give you an example. Maybe you're faced with something similar to this. You can stay at this job that's a little bit more of a low-paying job that gives you a lot of time at home with your family, or you could switch to a high-paying job that gives you less time with your family. It's a simple situation, but it is difficult because either one's a good option. You got to lean into what are your core values and your priorities in your life right now. For instance, the first situation, a lower paying job that gives you more time at home. Well, if you have kids at home and you want to spend more time with them, then that fits in with your core priorities and your core values, and you may want to go with that. If you don't have kids, or if your kids are out of the house, if you're looking for a new challenge, you might want to go with a higher paying job that doesn't give you as much time at home because that's not your priority or your value right now. The important thing is whatever the decision is that you have to make, it needs to line up with your core priorities and core values. So those are 5 quick tips to help you make some decisions in your life. If all of this went over your head because you heard me at the beginning talk about what you're going to eat for dinner and you still don't know the answer, I'll even give you a bonus 6th tip. Go to Chick-fil-A. It's almost always the answer. Get yourself a chicken sandwich and some waffle cut fries and you will thank me later. That's all the time we got. Thanks for checking out this video. If you want to get a hold of me, touch base with me, you can catch me on any social media network at Sean Patrick DJ. That's SEAN Patrick DJ. If you want to hit me up on my personal email, it is the same, SeanPatrickDJ@gmail.com, spelled the same way. If not, I will see you here next week on What Would That Sound Like?